the guys that gave up a home run in an inning. Look at Drew Pomeranz. He absolutely gave up a moonshot dead center in game one. You don't want to be in the same conversation as Drew Pomeranz this year, and Workman was in it. So, like you said, it's a nitpicky thing, but at the end of the day, there's only so many postseason roster spots, and there's only so many times you're going to get in a game. If you got Chris Sale and David Price pitching the way they are this year, the 7th and 8th inning is going to be locked up, and you're not going to get out there if you're Workman.
Small things win you postseason games.
Yeah. Small ball in every aspect.
And, he pitched all the way through the 2013 postseason, so he's been there, and, it's crazy that he has to kind of re-earn that, but he does. And
absolutely. It's not what you did for me in the past, it's what you're doing for me now type of situation.
Right. What have you done for me lately?
Yep.
Absolutely. My call-out, not really exactly a scathing one, but I'm going with Ian Kinsler, who just hasn't really been that great. I mean, he's hitting 237 on the year. I think 227 in the last month. He hasn't hit a home run yet with the Red Sox. He's got Brandon Phillips on his ass down in Pawtucket, who could easily make a case that maybe he should be on the roster. Dustin Pedroia, there's talk. I mean, we'll get into him more later, but I don't know how viable that is. But Ian Kinsler definitely isn't going to win a popularity contest against Dustin Pedroia. We know that. So hopefully he steps it up, finds a little bit of spark in his offense, and keeps his job, because, I mean, he's definitely serviceable defensively, and if he could start hitting, for the rest of the year, if he was a 260, 270, 280 guy from here out, I would definitely take that. So, but we're not seeing it right now. So.
No, we're not, and I think that hamstring injury kind of put him behind the 8 ball a little bit, which is unfortunate, but it's just the tale of getting older and, the long season. But hopefully he turns it around. Phillips definitely has been killing it down in AAA, which is good to see, because he had a really slow start. I think in his first week or two, he's batting 180, and he's batting well over 300 now. And he even hit a home run the other night and had an unbelievable bat flip. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but he's ready. He's ready to come back up, and he'll be a September call-up, of course, with a bunch of other names, and hopefully Feltman's one of them. But the big thing is he's going to come up and contend. Core's 100% going to give him a shot. Core is a player's manager at the end of the day, and if he sees an opportunity to light a fire under somebody's ass like Kinsler, and or just give a shot to a guy that he knows has been there and done it, or someone young and eager, on the flip side of that, he will. So I don't care who is going to be there at second base. I don't care if it's Phillips or Kinsler or even Pedroia. Whoever gives us the best chance to win and succeed, I want there. Right now, Kinsler's not hitting the ball. He needs to flat out do better, but his saving grace is that Nunez isn't as hot as he was a couple weeks ago, and he's atrocious at second. So defensively, Kinsler's still got a job right now, I guess.
Yeah, and it'll get really interesting after September 1st. So.
Oh yeah, Kinsler needs to step it back up for that reason.
Yeah. Who are you calling out, Dave?
I am going to call out Mookie Betts. I already did that.
Oh, you got it off my. I mean, okay, yeah. All right.
I was like, I'm going to call out Mookie Betts again. We're going to move on.
He's been so bad. We're calling him out twice. No, just
That's
kidding.
It. Hey, Mookie, figure it out one time for me.
All right. So we'll get into the the general discussion part of the podcast for the Red Sox. I'm going to start it off with this question. If the playoffs started tomorrow and Chris Sale gets activated, so factor him into this, how good do you feel at that point?
Starting pitching-wise, I feel great.
Yeah.
Because Price has been unhittable since the All-Star break. Porcello, minus a few little bumps. I mean, I still blame Cora for the Cleveland series. I thought he pitched well against Tampa. He went 5+, 8 strikeouts. Bad umpire, awful umpiring. Couple on both sides of the ball too.
Yeah,
not just for the Sox, but so pitching wise, I feel really, really good about it. Hitting wise, obviously, it's very hot and cold. You're flipping a coin right now with this team. They put up 4, almost put up 6 or 7 against Cleveland in game 1, put up 10 and 7 in games 3 and 4, and then they get 13 hits against the Rays in one game. Couldn't get the big hit, and then they go silent the last 2 games. So I don't feel as confident in hitting right now, just because Mookie's cold, Moreland's cold. Well, not cold. He's been better, but he can't pitch against lefties. Can't hit against lefties. So you get some, interesting dynamics there. But the big thing is that it's just not consistent right now. And thankfully, the starting pitching's been consistent, minus a Velasquez or an Evaldi, who they're not going to be in the rotation anyway come October. So you don't really have to worry about that. So I feel good pitching-wise and hitting-wise.
Yeah, it was one of those instances where, everybody got cold at the same time. Not necessarily cold, but had one set. Hitting-wise, going into October, I don't feel outstanding. Who's been hitting the ball the best out of everybody lately? I guess we could say JD, Bogey. But other than
JD and Bogey have been on fire, other than that.
Yeah, other than that, nobody's just lighting up the world. So you don't really want that to be, oh, look, two of our players are, just tearing it apart. But what about the other 7? So pitching, I feel really good. Sale, Price, Porcello, I think that's really good. I have all the faith in the world in David Price, whether that's my 22-year-old self being naive, probably. But, he's given me no reason not to think he's going to be all right. The bullpen, it's literally a coin flip, like Dave said. You never know which bullpen you're going to get. But it all depends who's out and who's out there. As long as Hembry's not out there, I'm going to be all right.
Yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see who makes the roster and who doesn't. But one of the things that
That's an important day.
What's that?
That's an important day.
Right.
When you figure out what the roster is, that's huge.
Yeah. And also, one of the things I was kind of harping on during the month of July was, as we approached the trade deadline, I was saying, hopefully this epic run that we're on for the month, where I think we only lost 4 games, hopefully that doesn't deceive us into not making good enough moves, for the rest of the season. And looking back on it now, I don't really feel great about Kinsler right now, offensively anyway. He's a guy who is a perennial 20-something, and I think he might have even gone over 30-something home runs before, and he's not doing it here. And now Evaldi, everybody raved about that. His career numbers didn't impress me, but I thought it was going to be a decent move. I thought we were going to get something from him, but he's trending sharply the wrong way right now, and he could be a reliever, and maybe be the Charlie Morton of last year, and maybe that ceiling's a little high. Maybe he's not going to be quite that good, but still possibly serviceable. But I'm not really feeling good about any of the trade deadline moves right now. Brazier was simply just a call-up, and I know he kind of scuffled yesterday, but he looks all right. But I don't know. I just look at some of the moves that the other teams have done, and Dave, you weren't a big J. Happ guy, but he's been lights out. Been absolutely lights out, and that's not a guy I want to tangle with if the Yankees win the, if they win the wild card game. And that's assuming that we're not the ones playing it. Our lead has been cut nearly in half, in the last handful of days. We've lost 6 of 8. So I'm going to assume we're still going to win, the division. But this next week's going to be interesting. So I don't know. It's probably more a matter of guys needing to step up, and hopefully that happens. The second half of September is going to be grueling competition-wise because we got the Indians once, the Astros once, and the Yankees twice in there. So we'll see. But I was definitely feeling a lot better a few weeks ago about how we might look in the month of October, versus how I am right now.
Yeah, to go on I'm going to be on the record again. If it comes down to facing J-Hap over Cole Hamels or one of those other guys that was on the list, I'm still taking J-Hap. He had bad first 2 starts there. Has calmed it down since, but he's still J-Hap. He's still older. We still rocked him this year. And I think he's benefiting from playing weaker teams as he beat up on the Orioles today, I think it was. Mm-hmm. But I see your point about, maybe our deadline moves. But when you're the best team in baseball, there's not many moves you can make to become the better best team in baseball. Eovaldi was a solid choice. There was a couple names that was running around. Cole Hamels, who had no trade, so you had to ask. He went to the Cubs, went to the National League anyway. J-Hap, who we didn't need another lefty at all. And the Yankees were in on him, who could obviously outbid us. So he was kind of out too. So Eovaldi kind of fell into our laps. And I like the Eovaldi trade still. I think he's been trending downwards, like you said. But 3 of his starts have been, excellent, and good. That Philly start was good against a good team too. And he would have went longer if that was at home, not, away in the National League ballpark. So I think he'll be in the bullpen for sure, because you never know if, Porcello has one of those games where he gives up 6 runs in 3 innings on 80 pitches, or Price has a meltdown and he could be a reliever. But the Kinsler deal, we needed a guy that could play better defensively at second and chip in offensively. That's Kinsler at this point in his career. Hamstring injury kind of derailed it a little bit. I think he'll kind of figure it out. Also, Brendan Phillips getting called up is going to work out like a Brian Brazier type of situation anyway, where we have someone waiting. So we didn't have to go make the big fish to go get like a Brian Dozier, who I don't think we would even have the prospects for anyway. But we didn't have to do that. I think it is more of a everyone needs to step it up type of thing. You can't have, 4 all-stars on the team not playing at an all-star level come the month of October and late September. So Mookie's got to get back on track. Benintendi's got to start hitting a little bit better. JD and Bogart's been great, but the bottom of the lineup, Sandy's been atrocious since the All-Star break. He's only in there for his defense. Swihart's been good. JBJ's been trending upward a little bit. Nunez was up, and now he's trending back down. So we have a lot of people kind of going in the wrong direction that we need him to right now. But overall, I think the team's still really good. And, yeah, it stinks that our lead is cut down to 6 now, because I'm sure New York's going to hold on to their win tonight. But New York played the Orioles, who are, debatably the worst team in baseball. Probably the worst team in baseball, along with Kansas City being up there and Miami. But we played the Rays, who, since the All-Star break, and they started, since their opener, quote-unquote, little fiasco they've thrown in, they've been like top 5 in the MLB and ERA since they've done that. So something's turned around with their pitching staff. Hitting-wise, they're hitting a lot better. They're getting on base. They're stealing bases. They're going first to third. They're a good team. They're above 500. They're, I think, 10 games above 500 now.
Better record than the Dodgers.
Better record than the Dodgers, who were in the World Series last year, and that means they're only 2 games out from the Rockies, probably.
Yep.
So the Rays are a good team, and they're playing good baseball, and they're playing with nothing to lose. So I think combination with that and the fact that it was our back end of our rotation, Velasquez, we knew that was coming. Eovaldi is technically our 4th, 5th starter, and Porcello pitched okay. He didn't pitch bad at all, but didn't pitch amazing, but he is our number 3. So, at the end of the day, we'll see how. I think the rest of the next week or 2 really shows what this team's made of. We have 6 games against really bad teams. Miami's really bad, and the White Sox are really bad. And minus a few bright stars in there, like a Kopech or, someone in Miami, I can't even think of anybody. Urena, maybe, who, throw out somebody's head. There's not much there, so we can't even say, like, oh, they're a good team trending up like Tampa. If we play bad against these 2 teams, I'll start to hit the panic button. But for right now, I think guys need to step it up. And when Sale comes back, Price is pitching great, and Porcello's pitching consistently, the team has a whole different look when those 3 guys are pitching in a series, not Velasquez, Brian Johnson, Eovaldi, and whoever else was a spot starting.
The White Sox have been a little kind of a thorn in our side, so I typically don't take that series for granted. They took 2 out of 3 against us earlier in the year, and I think isn't Kopech in that series?
He is, yep. I believe, the last game.
Yeah, and the Sox have had their struggles with spot starters like that. I mean, we struggled with Bieber last week, and I don't know. It just seems like when a young pitcher comes up, there's not